What's up guys, we're back here again. We got a review for the 4-star maxed out AG10. Take a look at it there. Got the stats there. Assault rifle, obviously. But I think the main feature of this weapon is it's very portable. It's not going to be a ranged weapon, as you'll see. But we'll spin it around there, give you a little view. And as we do, we'll jump into a training match to start off. Go to warehouse. We spawned right in our good spot, so we're not going to run around at the beginning. Let's try to pick off a few people, and you'll notice right away the 4-star does not have a scope option. You can tell by looking at the weapon as well as the screen. You know, looking at the weapon, it looks like it's missing something. It just feels like there should be a scope there, but once you evolve it to a 5-star, you get that scope. This is just the 4-star maxed out. My first impression moving around here is that it's very portable. Feels almost loose, like everything's loose. Like my sensitivity is too high or something like that. It's kind of the best analogy is if I up the sensitivity. I always like when I'm shooting like that and it zooms in on the gun because I'm against the wall. Gives you a good view of the weapon. Decent rate of fire. See, we're back in this corner, giving you a view of the range here. Definitely not the strongest. You know, it is only a 4-star, so not the greatest review, I guess. I know a lot of you would love to see a 6-star maxed out or a 7-star, and I know a few people out there have them. I don't, unfortunately. But even if I did, I don't think I would use it. You know, most people say the chief complaint really is the range. But people kind of use it like a cross between an SMG and an assault rifle, as far as I know. It is very mobile. You see, we're not quite sprinting, but we are moving pretty quick. I think most people would agree if they could add one thing to this weapon, it would be the range. But it's a very competitive weapon still. I know a handful of people. We got I always run into, I think his name's Slick Ricky. He's always in ranked play, multiplayer. I think he's got a 6-star. But he usually does some damage on me. You know, we got Force Multiplier. I think he just made his into a 7-star. He breaks that out every once in a while. He's got a few other guns as well, though. I feel like there's a couple other people. Can't remember their names right now, but see, we got up to 24 kills in that training match. That's like the worst amount you can possibly get because you're one away from that 10,000 cash reward. But you know, as I always say, we're not actually training here, although that was pretty close to an actual training session. We didn't really run around. Kind of stayed in our spot and did our thing. The only difference I would have made if I was actually training is I wouldn't have sat under the stairs and tested out the range like I did for a little bit there. Would have went back to the spot that we initially spawned in, which is my go-to spot. Still not at level 40, so I don't know what the level 40 bots are like, but I'm assuming that'll stay my spot when I hit level 40. I'm getting close now. As I'm recording this voiceover, I got I think I'm at 75%, 79%, something like that, of level 39. So we're almost there. Then I can start scaring people, getting them to back out of lobbies and casual play. No, I'm just kidding. But you do see that a few times. You get a bunch of level 40 people in a casual lobby, and you know, all the level 20 and below seem to back out. But we'll jump right into some ranked here. We're at the beginning of the week, or close to it, and this is my first ranked match for the week, so you know, I'm not going for top 100 or anything this week, so I don't have a problem messing around, even if we lose a few points. We're on Raised Fort here. A lot of people like to break out the SMGs on Raised Fort. Although Raised Fort is a unique map in the sense that you can bring pretty much any weapon to it and be able to compete. You see, I'm trying to be mobile. This is a very portable gun, like I've said, and you know, trying to run around, showcase that strength, try to play to the strengths, and it does feel like kind of like my sensitivity is too high when I'm running around with this gun, so I'm definitely not the best with it. There's probably a lot of people out there who could do a lot better. Once again, it is only a 4-star, so you know, you could have any weapon at a 4-star and it's not going to be great. You know, CQR 2000 might be the best 4-star. I don't know. Just off the top of my head, maybe there's others, but see if I can pick off some of these campers. I remember I was playing this match and I got pretty frustrated. I usually don't get frustrated that much, but this guy Ironside 2 times camping in the back here. Like, who camps over there? You see, I walked in and I turned to the right because that's where everyone usually camps. I guess if anything, I can give him credit for switching it up. Wasn't really expecting him to be there, and you know, he was kind of making me mad, so I kept chasing him down, and it's never a good idea. Pro tip number 1, don't chase down campers. That was a terrible shot with the grenade launcher. I guess if I can come up with an excuse, it's because this AG-10 kind of threw me off a little bit. Everything feels so loose, like I've been saying. So, you know, I'll use that as my excuse. Just say I'm a little off because of that. See Ironside on the top left there, but this guy's running out. We'll see if we can catch him. Yeah, we got him. It's usually an easier fight for the guy on the bottom there, where I was as opposed to where he was. Of course, as we're about to take out Ironside for the first time, this guy comes in and saves him with the 6-star PPM Chrome. I mean, honestly, I don't think this is the best showcase for this weapon. These guys are... This is a pretty terrible match. There's a good kill, sneaking up on that guy. Double kill. Not shooting him, just see what he's rocking. He's got the Autumn A500, looks like. But, I mean, it's kind of hard to do any type of review with people camping this hard. I was getting pretty annoyed in this match. You see, like... I guess it's a good... that's a pretty good launcher kill there, but I guess it's a good showcase that the range can be an issue with the AG-10. You know, where I just was, where I got that launcher kill from, I could sit there with the A500 and pick off these campers once I decide to pop out, but with this AG-10, especially a 4-star, you know, I can't really do that, and I should have had Ironside there. That's just terrible skill on my part. People say this game takes no skill, it's all auto-aim and things like that, but there's a great example right there of someone more skilled absolutely should have got that kill, but see, Ironside went 5-0. I hope you're happy. I hope you watched this video. We only went -1. Lost 3 points. You see, it was my first match there, but absolutely no big deal. We're not sweating it. See if we can jump into another, but... You know, AG-10, it is portable, so I would say bring a launcher for your secondary. Grenade or rocket. I know a lot of people kind of are gravitating towards the rocket launchers right now. I'll stand by the grenade launcher, specifically the Chrome. I think I've said this in other videos, but I think the Chrome has a significant damage boost or something. I don't have the stats in front of me, but I've noticed it really feels significantly better. And my best launcher is a 4-star, not even maxed out, so it's not really fair for me to make the comparison because I don't have experience with them, but I love the grenade launcher. I love the option to be able to lob it over obstacles across maps. rocket launcher is more of a line drive kind of attack, so pros and cons to each. I'll stick with the grenade launcher for now, but overall point being that with a very portable primary, and the AG-10 is in that category of portable primaries, most people would say bring a launcher as your secondary. With the shorter range of the AG-10, you're not going to be able to pick off campers. It's not an LMG. You're not going to be able to just sit there and spray 100 rounds at campers, things like that. So you're going to depend on that launcher in certain situations, especially maps like aircraft. If you get spawn trapped, or even if you're doing the spawn trapping, I know that's not one of the most frustrating things, but it is frustrating. Almost as frustrating as getting spawn trapped is when you're on a good team and you guys are spawn trapping the other team, but you can't get kills because you can't get into their spawn. You don't want to necessarily, if you're trying to spawn trap, you don't want to run into their spawn, because then their spawns are going to change and they're going to start spawning outside of where you're trapping them from. But with the AG-10 and like SMGs, shorter range weapons, you're not going to be able to really dig in there and pick off people. Even when you're doing the spawn trapping, you might be relying on that grenade or rocket launcher. So keep that in mind for your loadout. There's a good stun there. Double kill. We had a few rounds left, just got him, but in terms of loadout, I'm rocking my light urban vest, assault pants, foxtrot helmet. That's just my go-to. Almost any weapon nowadays, I just keep this loadout. One, it takes a lot of work to switch. The people that bring a different weapon to every single map, I applaud those people. You must be racing to change your loadout in between lobbies. That's impressive, because it takes a while. So I think this is a good setup. I think, light urban vest and foxtrot helmet give you assault protection, and assault is the dominant weapon. Assault always seems to be the dominant weapon class in any kind of combat game, for that matter, at least in my experience. I'm sure most of you would agree. And so that assault protection is nice. It does leave me vulnerable to SMGs and the LMGs. I don't know what's going on here. I got some major lag issues there. That was really weird. But yeah, KPKs are a threat to me. That Ankh is a threat to me, as it is to everybody. But my other option would be to throw on like my Black Ops vest with SMG protection, but I don't think it's really worth it, to be honest. I don't know if I've ever worn that vest. Maybe I should try it out one of these days, but I like this setup. It's my go-to, and it takes more work to switch it than you would really benefit from, in my opinion, so I just stick with it. And the ignores the stopping power coming from stun gadgets and weapons. That little perk on the assault pants is really nice. There's a good kill, shows how we can be mobile with the AG-10. Come around and flank the guy, take him out there. Not a terrible match, nothing special. 7-3 on Warehouse. My team did average 4-1, 2-6. Got the extra 5 gold, we'll take it. Veteran crate, our inventory's full in this video, so that'll just go to our inbox. We'll claim it later. Probably won't get anything special out of it, as always, but we'll close out the review here. Do the custom match. Call it the AK-10. I'm not a weapons expert, but I think it seems like the AG-10 is kind of based off that AK style. Got kind of that banana clip type of shape. Looks very similar to the AGK. Looks kind of in the same family, and In my AGK review, I said looks like it's based off the RPK, which is an AK style weapon. I think most people would say the AG10 is just based off of the very well known AK-47. Maybe a little more modern version of it. Not sure the specific iterations of the AK, but I know there's some more recent ones out there. But you'll see it at the end after this match. I'll show you the weapon one more time in the like the inventory, spin it around for you, but you can kind of see it there. It looks very thin in this game. I don't know if that's, you know, the correct design or if it just kind of came out like that or what, but it seems awkwardly thin in my opinion, you know. And like you try to picture it being thicker, and you like imagine that, and you start to think it would look weird if it was any thicker, but I don't know, it just seems too thin in my opinion. It looks awkward, but obviously looks aren't, you know, don't affect the performance here unless they affect your confidence. You gotta be confident going into these games, you know. Maybe we got overconfident there. We got killed by sharks, was it? With the PPM. Well, we're just messing around here, trying to run around a bit, you know. I mean, maybe I should have played more reserved in this review. It is an assault class weapon. Maybe I should have played closer to how I play with my A500, but you know, overall, once you equip this weapon, you start running with it, you're like, wow, this is pretty portable, you know. And like I was saying, the controls kind of feel loose, and you kind of want to run with it, you know. So I kind of tried to play that style, tried to run around a little bit. We see we went 11 and 2 there. But yeah, that pretty much does it for this review. Like I said, show you the weapon real quick. It looks really thin there, just a little awkward. You get the scope at 5 stars, should be a good bonus, especially if you use it for training. But let me know what you think of the AG10 below in the comments, and make sure to subscribe, and thanks for stopping by.